Hey there, welcome to Bishop's Garage. I'm Bishop. My yard is my garage. My tennis court over there is my garage. Well, and right now, part of this yard is my garage. Today we're going to work on our 1948 Chevy 3100 pickup. Yeah, not all of this in here is original. However, we do have an original vacuum wiper motor sitting underneath the dash, and today we're going to swap that out for an electric one that has 2 speeds and a park. And hopefully that will nice. So here you can kind of see the interior of our 1948. Yeah, we have a custom steering wheel in here, but everything else is pretty much original. I've done a classic heater, not the AC, just the heater, since we're in the Pacific Northwest. We don't normally need much AC. You can see I've taken my 1958 Edsel Citation seat, reupholstered that, and that is sitting in here for good comfort. Here's where we're going to work today. Let's go ahead and swap that out. So here we are on the inside. Let's go ahead and dig into where this stuff would sit. So let's give you guys a good perspective on this. I have some light underneath the dash so we can see. Now, looking through the radio spot here, you can see underneath where I've added a bracket that goes back to the firewall. I'll show you where that connects. And really, this unit is the unit that we're going to be using. The old arms connect onto here, and there's a spring and a clip that holds them there. This bolt and this bolt will be bolted into where the original one was. And then this last one bolts to a small extra flange that they ship with the box, and I'll show you where that one sits too. So let's see where this one sits first. So going back inside here, let's in fact underneath maybe. All right, so this is that extra one that I put in. You can see I've got it bolted up to the let's see, get on that side. Bolted up to a hole that was conveniently on the inside of my firewall. I just used some steel strapping, and I put a bend in it, and that electric tape is just kind of holding on a piece of conduit. But when you're looking underneath here, to give you some perspective again, maybe, there's part of an old bracket, and I can't really tell if you can see it. Looking up, there is part of the original bracket, and that's where one of the bolts will slip into. Alright, so there's that bracket. Looking up underneath, you can see my vent cowling and the one that pops up. So just looking a little more towards the driver's side, you can see where the original mounting bracket is and the other side of the mounting bracket. So that bracket bolt there, or hole, and that one, and that third one, those are the 3. This one will go into that back one, and this one there, and this one there. Those 2 will go into the original slot. Okay, so now also for this, we're going to have to take off each one of our windshield wipers here, just so we can make sure that we aren't going to overtax the motor right away, and we want to see where its park sits. So in order to take these old ones off, you have to push this silver button here, and that relieves a little clamp or a little hook, claw hook on here. Then you use the standard screwdriver and you just kind of wedge that under here. So you just push that silver button in, and you just turn the screwdriver on its side a little bit. And there it comes off. So you can see where that little silver button is and the little claw thing that it moves to the side. All right, push in on this and just go like that with your screwdriver on the other side. And there. So now let's go back inside and put our new motor in. Okay, this is such a tight space. I'm going to have to hold this by hand, and hopefully we won't jiggle around too much. I'd like to show you as much as I can. So here's the motor. It's going to sit in there kind of in this angle, right like that. So what we need to do is we need to take the old arms and put them on here. They will go right there and right there. So passenger side on the top and then the driver's side on the bottom. All right, take a look at the top of this circular piece of metal right here. You'll see a couple of little black splotches. Those are the adjustment screws. Notice the position they're in now. Imagine taking that off, turning the arm 180 degrees and putting it back on. Then that is what you would be best imagining, because honestly, that position where they're sitting in now is going to come back and haunt me. Watch. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring our motor up under here. Then you can see I've already got one of the arms there. I'm going to go ahead and put the little brackets on there. There's a small little white cup that goes on here, then the arm, and then a washer over that, and then there's a spring clip. So I'll show you how that looks. Got the motor in place here. It's not bolted in yet. There's the lower bracket, and hopefully you can see at least one of the upper brackets there. Really difficult to get in here. There's just no room. Surprising for an old vehicle. But now I'm going to put the bolts on and the lock washer, and then we'll give it a go. So about 20,000 expletives later, just like anything that you work on these old vehicles, it's in. The directions are reasonable, but I'll show you a picture of those later. Let's just take a look where we are now. So you can see, looking in here, I'll try to turn it so you can see. There's the motor. You can see the one bracket it's attached to there. Kind of in the top of your screen is the other part of the original bracket that it's bolted into. And then on the underside, under here, not sure if you can see it with the light, but I'll take a gander back and forth. You can see where it bolts into the original brackets. Well, let's go ahead and stop it there just for a moment. You'll notice here on the left, you can see one of the finger hands pointing at one bolt, and on the right here, it's pointing at the other. These are the two original spots where the vacuum-driven motor was installed. And all you have to do is add that third arm that comes with the kit itself, and you've got a 3-point solid harness that will hold the wiper in and give it just enough rigidity to not destroy anything underneath your dash. And let's take a look. There's one of the there's the passenger side one. Yeah, my window's dirty. All right, so we turn this on. So we have power, and we turn these two slow. You can see it's moving back and forth. And there's the driver one, moving back and forth. That's great. We turn this off. Let's do it again, just so you can see the park. We'll turn it off at the high spot, and it automatically parks. So that is where we're going to now place our windshield wipers, is at that park spot. So, I'm going to tell you a few things you're going to need to know when you first turn this on. Really only use this when it's wet out And we're going to go ahead and put some soapy water on the windshield so it's got lots of lubrication so we don't strain the system, because really these old ones aren't meant to be run when there's no rain and it's just dry. Also, what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and put these back on. We're going to make sure that we get a decent sweep. I don't mind if the wipers are sitting here, but I don't want them sitting here, because if we have them sitting here, they'll go far enough over. But if it's like right against here, because you like that appeal, you're only going to get your wiper up to about here. So let's get some soapy water on here and try these out. There we are with our 48 with our non-functioning electric motor conversion. This is actually the second time I've used the same company to do this motor conversion, and it's stripped out after about 3 passes. So, okay, let me stop me there. Let's talk a little bit about this after reading the instructions more solidly and understanding the mechanics a little bit better. Let me show you a couple of things. This is the old one. You can see that the axle of the electric motor comes up through here and is held, there's a collar around it here. And you can see that there are ridges on the inside of this axle that fit up into the collar. Well, that collar itself has 2 Allen wrench C's nuts. I'm not sure quite what those are called there. It's got these 2 here. They take an Allen wrench, and what they do is they lock down onto that axle and they hold it in place. And they do actually lock pretty well when you lock them down properly. Don't use it just straight out of the box. What I found is that you should take the collar off, install the motor, and once it's installed, then put the collar on. But put the collar on so that you can reach those 2 nuts from underneath the dash instead of behind the dash itself, because the way I had it installed originally, that was out of the box, was I couldn't get to those Allen nuts, and it seemed like it held, but no, it just stripped out. So what I did is I actually took that off, turned it 180 degrees, put it back on. Then I could get to the adjustments on the underside, and that's the critical part here. So in retrospect, kind of ignore the negativity I was coming up with there, and it does work fine. Read the instructions, do that little spin like I told you. Take the collar off, turn it 180 degrees, put it back on. If you're using this in a pre-54, pre-53 Chevy pickup, should work just fine for you. Works great. It's not here or I would show you, so I'll just show you my bus, and I'll show you the Chieftain there. Well, thanks for coming along. If you like what you see, click subscribe, hit the bell if you want to see when I toss out new content, and hopefully you're getting something out of these videos that is good and fun. And once it gets a little warmer, maybe we can get back to our other project here. All right, take care, stay safe, be healthy, and we'll see you next time.